Hi, everyone. It's Life in Vibe, otherwise known as Ray. And today I decided to suffer through Sarasota Tim's 38-minute morning rant so you don't have to suffer through it because, my goodness, does he go off this morning. But before we get into Sarasota Tim and his moral high ground, let me make sure that I always put out my fair use disclaimers out here and let you guys know that everything that I do on this channel is under fair use. And even though Sarasota Tim and I are meeting in court in 47 days here in Virginia Beach because he is a serial copyright flagger on YouTube, we just keep on going. We just keep plugging along, and we make sure that we do everything properly and legally here. All right, guys. So before we get into our great friend Sarasota Tim, I did want to remind people a little bit about the good old days when I first started making reaction to Sarasota Tim around 2 years ago, and what kind of drew me to thinking that he could be an interesting individual to make commentary around. So let's just get into it. Let's not waste any time. I'm going to change over my format real fast so it looks like it makes sense as to how I'm looking at stuff. But believe it or not, this is one of a video that I made because obviously this does not exist on the Sarasota Tim YouTube channel any longer. And if everybody wants to remember our good friends, Pam and Gary, let's give a memoriam to them because you'll see.
That truck with the cab over on it, there was a Class C there yesterday. He was there one day. And this guy's been here forever since I've been here. This guy's been here forever since I've been here, and so on and so forth. Again, I have vacancies over here. Nobody. And then I got them behind me.
So Tim has been traveling across the United States. He originally was out in Boynton Beach, Florida. He then grifted his way up the East Coast. It's funny watching myself. And it's funny seeing the tulips, the infamous tulips still there. Hell, they have a lot to tell us. Is getting free hotel stays and restaurant visits, probably telling these folks that were his viewers that he would be giving them promotion on his channel, his big channel that's almost 100K. And he's desperate to get to this 100K too, which reminds me of somebody else we know. But anyway, he starts to, this is May the 18th. So it's fairly recent. And you're just going to think to yourself, how is this person who's been doing YouTube for a while, who is consistently making and uploading content, how did they not think this was just weird and problematic and a little bit strange and voyeuristic? I'm not exhibitionist. I'm not sure. I'm not, like I said, diagnosing or treating Sarasota Tim, but he is very sketchy.
But yesterday, I met Pam and Gary.
He is absolutely completely naked in that tab, guys. We know that. All right. So we're going to let Tim talk about what a great dad he is. I'm not going to try to stop it too much. I have put this one at 1.75 speed because it is so long. And I just, I'm going to suffer through this so you don't have to. And I'm going to try to make it quick and maybe somewhat humorous because Tim has got it all going out today, guys. Happy 4th, Tim.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Sarasota Tim, another day. It's Saturday at 7:16 a.m. And I want to, first of all, thank the person. I even verified it on Gemini, who told me, don't throw away your Dawn Power Wash. Just put in some alcohol, Dawn dish liquid, and top it off with water.
All right, I'm going to speed this little tiny bit up because I don't really care about his cleaning hacks. So we're going to speed it up a little bit there.
What do you call a microfiber towel? I use that and a sponge, depending on what I'm cleaning. And I like to keep this area absolutely spotless over here and disinfect it, and it is. So thank you for that tip. I'm going to share that with Rafaela because she gave me that bottle. She got buy one, get one or something at BJ's. I thought it was very generous. Those aren't cheap. I've always seen them. They used to advertise them. But I just buy the regular Dawn. And I had this little bottle.
I couldn't figure out if the rant was about the Dawn detergent or the rant was about Tim wanting to get his stuff done. Couldn't figure it out. All right, let's speed him up a little tiny bit more because it's really unimportant. The first 2 minutes, 38 minutes. My goodness, he really wanted a lot of AdSense today.
Guess what? Today I have, thanks to a good cup of crank. I'm drinking some crank that was sent to me by Craig. Now I'm going to tell you something right now. I hope I don't hurt Craig's feeling. And I spoke to Craig at length yesterday, but I'm not going to bring it up. He's probably going to hear it now.
Oh my goodness. I don't think there is one thing of coffee that Tim gets sent by somebody that he doesn't complain. He just wants your money, people. He doesn't want your novelty coffees unless it's a can of McCafe coffee or something. And it was very thoughtful of this person to send these, very nice whole bean coffees from a particular coffee shop that Tim says he likes to go to. But Tim, he just, listen. Why do people continue to send something to somebody who always complains about it? There's not one time I feel that Tim has received a gift from somebody and has been fully grateful and not had a complaint and not wanted to take it back to a store. That's my rant this morning.
There's something wrong with that morning blend. There's something wrong with it. Everybody said that looked like Texas tea or tea. That's the first thing that came to my mind when I poured it from the percolator. And so I said, well, maybe I just didn't put enough coffee to it. Maybe it's just I can get my vacuum out, which I love my new vacuum. Maybe I just didn't put enough coffee. So I ground up some more and I made an 8 cup. I normally don't make a 6 cup. I go up to 8.
Seriously, this is the content. He just talks about coffee. So let's just speed him along because, oh goodness, what a pause story.
Percolator. Somebody give it to me in Fanatics. What is it called? Fanatics? Fontics?
Fanatics.
I don't know anything. Anyway, this thing, it was percolating and it was water, just clear water. I'm like, I put the McDonald's in there right away, it's brown. So there's something wrong, but there ain't nothing wrong with the crank. The crank cranks it up. But I'm not gonna, go for no. But I can't drink it. It doesn't make coffee. It makes colored water, tea. And I Googled it and everything. Like 1998 is the year that Human Being came out. And so that's why they named that blend. The morning is a very mild, it does say, easy to drink, smooth blend. But it's got to look brown.
Well, the thing with, I'm a light roast coffee drinker. That is my preferred and generally a breakfast blend. And generally when the bean is roasted more lightly, it's because you like a more acidic tasting bean. It's going to be more on the acid tasting side. I tend to like a tangy coffee. I do love a light roast. Believe it or not, one of my favorites is Folgers breakfast blend. I know it sounds awful, but it's the best. I really do like it. It's got that right tang to it. And so it is one of my preferred. So yeah. I don't know if Tim is a light roast. He's a cream. He likes cream in his coffee. Let's be honest.
Hey, Human Being, if you're listening, don't get cheap on me. I got enough coffee to last. Don't worry about it. This crank, you got to be careful. I wouldn't want to sit and have like 2 or 3 cups of it. I have to bring the McDonald's out and have my second cup. Now, today's the day.
I don't think calling crank is probably a good idea, Tim. And the thing is, I always have to be sort of cautious with the amount of caffeine that Tim consumes because he is supposedly following a heart healthy medication regimen with his doctor or his nurse practitioner at his practice that he goes to see for his general care. And Tim is unaware, I think, that when you are increasing the heart rate and you're increasing how rapidly the blood is flowing through the body, and you've got sticky areas with atherosclerotic plaque buildup, the potential of building up a blood clot in that area, in that sticky area, and then maybe having a thrombus or something happening that could be or something that, potentially around the heart muscle itself, which could cause angina, otherwise known as chest pains, is a really high probability. And so it's a reason why at heart hospitals, we do not serve caffeinated coffee. It is all decaf if somebody needs to have that coffee flavor, because we do not want to increase somebody's heart rate and therefore increase, the work on the heart too. And potentially the increase in that heart rate is going to increase the rapid increase in the blood flow around the body and already compromised arteries. And so he has already said that he feels like when he's had a lot of caffeine, his heart rate increases. Wouldn't recommend. Okay, let me not preach because it's a long video.
Today is the first day of the rest of your life. So I heard about socialism and stuff. I started talking about this the other day.
All right, I'm just going to preface that he's going to go off on a political rant. And so I'm going to let him rant off and you can just skip ahead. But I think it's, for those of you, it's important to sort of highlight that Sarasota Tim is, rules for thee, not for me. He's definitely somebody who leans in a political ideology, in my opinion. Everything I say is my opinion on this platform. Probably a little bit more... I don't even want to say traditional values because I hate to think so, but, definitely in a less open-minded view of having America. Tim thinks it's 250 years of bigotry, racism, and hatefulness that makes America great. And I'm just going to be honest. He obviously yesterday got bored and sat down and had a diet of Fox News, and this is the result. So be prepared.
Here we go. We'll get into it. I heard about socialism somehow, and so I went on news. I'll go on news if there's some breaking news or life-threatening or the gas stations in Hormuz is closed down or something. But apparently, there's some people that won by a landslide that are socialist communists. And so I got the fake news about them and their goal, and there's some truth to it. But of course, they're going to throw their angle to it. Fox, and then CNN's got their angle. And hey, you guys see my new 250 American 250? Check it out. That's a shirt. It's nothing. But look at this. Here, where are we at? Huh? Koofandy, baby. These are Koofandy. Yeah, you can get these. They're like a nylon, synthetic. Really nice. Really.
Oh, gosh. It's all to be returned. Even though he's so proud. He's a patriot. Tim's a patriot grifter. However you want to call him. I call him a patriot grifter because he does nothing to actually help America. He just takes from the system. He's a leech. He's a leech, in my opinion. But that's okay because I'm suing him. So I'm okay.
Really nice. They got a black one too. You can get with the star and stripes, stars and stripes. Anyway, I'm sporting American 250 because that's what this is about. We ain't doing no socialism. We ain't doing no change the country. So to hear tell the news, and this is where sometimes this fake news.
I guess all the political change that happened in the 1960s rolled over this man's head.
News may not be really too fake. They talk about a lot of revolutions that we've had in this country.
Yeah,
well, a few of them were started by only a very few amount of people. It didn't take a whole uprising. It only takes a spark to light a forest fire.
So
These Democrats, these socialist communists, when I say Democrats, I don't mean that in a disparaging way. I'm a Democrat. You maybe are a Democrat. Maybe you grew up with.
Sarasota Tim is not a Democrat. He probably voted for Donald Trump 3 times. That does not make Sarasota Tim a Democrat. He thinks that he's a working man, but Sarasota Tim has actually never really worked a day in his life. He's scammed from people his entire existence, in my opinion, and stolen from people because he stole from the American taxpayers, in my opinion, when he illegally took a abundance in EIDL money he really wasn't owed and then spent it on personal debt and vehicles.
If you're not a rich person, that's what we associated being a Democrat was just a good American, average working, blue collar, God-fearing American. We weren't radical socialists. Give me something for free. We were hardworking. We believed in capitalism. A lot of Democrats were able to, when we were middle class, before the middle class was wiped out, could take on a second job or make a second investment or do this or that. And we can move from middle to upper middle and then from upper middle to upper class. Then maybe we changed to a Republican. I don't know. But anyway, it was different, wasn't it? Republican and Democrat. It wasn't so brash. It wasn't so harsh. It wasn't so, oh, you're one of them.
I mean, your ethics change when you start to make more money. That means the more money you make, the less you want to help others. I know that's Sarasota Tim's philosophy. It wouldn't necessarily be mine. I think that when you have more of a democratic country, you're going to have more equality, and therefore you're not going to have the sort of social inequity we are potentially going to see in the United States. That's just my opinion, okay? I'm not going to make this political. I'll let Tim do the political rant. I think anybody who watches me knows that I'm somebody who's a little bit more worldly than Tim. I certainly am not going to get into conversations about mass geopolitics, and I probably have a far more understanding of these than Tim has. Tim is just a 16-year-old going on 67, or 67 going on 16-year-old in his mind and his politics.
You're a MAGA or you're a Democrat, and today they want to label us to where we have to feel bad about our party affiliation.
Aren't you trying to label people at the moment, Tim? Isn't that the pot calling the kettle black? Isn't the call coming from inside the house?
It's them. It's them. It's those people that the founding fathers tried to write in the Constitution.
Tim doesn't have any of that thinking, guys. I'm sorry. I have to be silly. Sometimes I try to be serious because these are serious topics. Unfortunately, Tim has a right to vote, and it's damaging. And yet he loves his free money. Hey, this is the most damaging rhetoric. It's just, I cannot believe. Hopefully one day YouTube just takes all this down. Just, how many more, salt of the earth do we have to hear give out their political thoughts? I'm just done. It's so damaging. It's the worst.
Prevent. This is exactly what was happening when we came over here and we separated ourselves from England.
Oh,
and we said,
well, whatever. You're going to be meeting an American Brit. An Anglo-American, I guess that's the proper term, coming up on August the 13th, if you're not a coward and actually come to court. But Tim's a coward. I'm going to win by default because he's a coward.
We don't want to be part of you anymore. But when it was written, it was to protect us against tyranny, dictatorship, and people's greed. But even though the Constitution's there, they're doing it. Both sides. We didn't have, we had this many laws when the Constitution was written and how our country was going. We've got so many laws now, and you got different states with laws.
Tim woke up and chose political anger as his Saturday morning. Such positivity. Some young lady was watching him thinking Tim's actually like this wealthy retired man having the best life ever. Sweetheart, it's a ruse, okay? So Tim's a character in his own mind, in his own making. He lives in an RV, okay, on a slab in Bradenton.
California's like its own country. They got so many crazy whack job people running that place. It's the people making the decisions. And this is why our president, who's going to follow that act? Who's going to work as hard as him? Who is going to care about USA truly like he does? He is not a perfect person. But look, he is doing his best to try to sort out what so many previous administrations have done to this country. We don't have 14 or 15 million people that shouldn't be living here. They came here illegally. We've got 40 or 50 million. It's up there around 20 or 30 million. I'll guarantee it. These people are being used as pawns. The government is getting a lot of money from fake fraud in Medicare and stuff, Medicaid. So if we were to ship these people out, they lose money. It's
painful, I have to say, listening to Sarasota Tim for me, because his ignorance is just so on show. I'm sorry. If you think this way and you listen to this rhetoric, you really are shameful, in my opinion. I just feel that it's not the way that America was for our forefathers, when they sat down and envisioned America. I don't think they were thinking of just this old bigot standing here who's done nothing to help this country out except leave 3 wives and 3 children with nothing, be an absolute deadbeat dad. He's never educated himself. He doesn't make America look like a better country. He doesn't file his taxes properly, in my opinion. Show me, Tim. Otherwise, show me your 1099 Schedule C's. I'd love to see what you do, how you actually move your money around all creatively and stuff. That's what Tim thinks America is. It's Scamerica for him. It's just like how he can scam whatever and leech out of other people. This is a do nothing blowhard over here.
Fraudsters in our government, the Democrats and even Republicans maybe. And the jobs are gone that they say that Americans don't want to do. The apartments, there won't be a supply and demand, so the rents will have to come down. And so it's all about the money. They could give a rip about these people. And they got in some heated thing in Congress the other day, into the Senate or whatever, and there were a bunch of lawyers screaming at each other, and one was talking about these people.
He doesn't like lawyers either, but that's okay because he doesn't understand the law, which is helpful when you're suing somebody this uninformed in a court.
People, and then the other guy was saying, well, what about all those children? That 400,000 of them that were unaccounted for, they let come over here and all these.
And that's an assessment that I've made from having been a school teacher and I have a teaching degree as well as a nursing degree. So I have looked at Tim's responses. He's used AI to generate it, his kind of lack of understanding of the law and just things in general. He's not very bright, in my opinion.
Bad things are happening to him.
Definitely
Basically,
not
this whole
very
mishmash
bright.
of conversation that I just threw at you, of which you can be offended by some of it, you might understand some of it, you might understand none of
A
it.
lot of it is to do with how he manages his money too. His whole attitude around it. He really does show signs of being very immature on most topics. And this is seemingly immature too. I'm sorry.
I can tell you this. This is not how I grew up. This is not the America that everyone came together. Like when it was 4th of July, we got fireworks, we blew up firecrackers, and everybody went to see it. And we had get-togethers and parties, and America, USA. We were proud, a united country.
Well, that's because the economy was better, Tim, and people could afford to have people show up to parties and stuff. The thing is that your generation is all over the place doing whatever, and the kids are working multiple jobs, so they're not going to be hosting and spending a ton of money on these parties anymore. I had a friend of mine who years ago said to me, because he would always be hosting parties, and after a while he was the only one hosting, and it was very expensive, and half the time the people weren't even eating the food, they're just drinking the alcohol. So it's like, why do I even put food out? And so it was to him, he just finally cut it off because it was expensive to host it, and time wise and everything else, and just over time the other people weren't reciprocating. And so I can't blame him, but I don't know what Tim expects. I'm sure there are people though who are going to be having parties on the 4th of July, Tim. Just I don't know what he's talking about. But I know that's the case too.
For those divisional times that we had, those moments were together. Now they want to stop it. They want to complain about it. They want to say down with America. They want to burn flags. They want to, all this stuff. And it's got to do with Jerusalem.
Tim, you're literally wearing flags around your ass. And I don't think that's supposed to be done with a flag either. So
and Israel and Iran and Jordan and all these places that we couldn't even spell. We didn't even know where they were at on the globe growing up. All we knew is what we knew, because you know what? We didn't have information like overload, cell phones and iPads and earbuds and earbuds and Tic Tacs and all these things, Facebooks. No, we were a simple people, a simple country, the most powerful country, a proud country, an American country. And the people that were coming, they were coming legally. They were coming proud and assimilated and wanted to make the best. And some of our wealthiest people, some of the kindest people I ever met, are immigrants from other countries that came here and worked hard and did the American way and know the language, and they assimilated and they did it the right way. And we were impressed when we met a foreigner. You from where? You speak 2 languages? How cool is that? Now they come over here, they speak their language, they don't speak any English. I go into Walmart and I ask somebody where something is, and they just look at me. All they know is their job. They put this on the shelf. They're just using these people for cheap labor, fraud in the Medicare world, and vote.
Somebody woke up on the wrong side of the bed. So I think you're attacking the wrong people, Tim. Punching down is not what you should be doing, in my opinion. And it's very interesting how you are so manipulated to punch down to the least able to protect themselves. And the people that you really should be questioning, who probably aren't paying their proper taxes, who are probably getting accountants to have creative accounting, those are the people that you should be looking at. But no, those are the people that you would laud as a hero because they've managed to somehow outsmart the system. But anybody who's more disadvantaged, who's actually does pay a lot of taxes, who contributes to Social Security without seeing real benefits of anything, these people are the ones that you're sitting here demonizing, which just shows to me that you really do lack any true understanding of what's happening in the world. And so your platform, you are dangerous, in my opinion. You are just the classic, and you have no reason. You've done nothing your whole life, and you still have money coming your way. So you just need to zip it up. I don't know what you're scared about. You're just sitting there, spitting out this rhetoric that these other people have manipulated you to say, because you can't think on your own. And I know other people are going to say that. No, that's fine. But I promise you, I would debate you and probably annihilate you and exhaust you by the end of it. And I could cite world history and examples and continue that debate, and happily. And you would get angry and frustrated. and then probably say something about me being a woman, because misogyny is generally where these people have to go to once they run out of an argument.
And everything else. It's a means to an end. Do you really believe that the U.S. politicians care about anybody except themselves? There's a whole reason they want these people. It's not a bleeding heart for people.
So you ever look at yourself?
That are being oppressed, they say, in their countries, and I'm sure they are, some of these countries. Now, I wouldn't want to be there. That's why I'm proud to be here. And I understand why everybody wants to be here. But we can't allow everyone in the world to come here and have the water of the pool diluted. What happened to America? What happened to our Constitution? What happened to what we believe? You got so many different things going on. It's like America is being squoze out. And they want that. That's exactly what they want. They want the best place in the world to be overtaken by them. And what do you think they would do if they ever really got power? And they may. I'll tell you what they're going to do. They're going to get rid of you and me. They're going to get rid of...
I'm just stopping. He keeps going.
People that don't think like them. You'd be hunted. And the thing about Americans is we're...
Sorry if the camera wobbled. I've got the camera at the table and I move forward. It's a new setup, guys.
Christian. Okay, we're a Christian nation. This country was founded by God. Christian people aren't mouthy. Christian people don't get megaphone and go out on street corners and...
No, it wasn't founded by God. And I don't want to go through the entire history of America and the slaughter of Native Americans. I just don't, Tim. I just don't. This man dropped out of high school at 16. He didn't even probably complete a basic civics class.
And raise hell and talk garbage and talk trash. We're more of a... we check ourselves. We're...
Tim, you talked all sorts of trash yesterday. You telling all sorts of inappropriate, misogynist jokes to the staff at McDonald's and all sorts of stuff. You just need to calm down.
More morally, we don't want to draw attention to ourselves. We think that's weird because we were raised to be what we are. And these people have got no inhibitions. They just get out and scream and yell and wear their hair 18 colors and paint their body up and wear their clothes hanging down on their knees and play their music in their car so loud you can't even hear your own radio in your own car. And just destroy the area and trash up the neighborhoods and go out and commit crimes and speed down the road like they're untouchable. Like they have,
Okay, Grandpa, keep going.
And if you're going to scream racist or whatever. We didn't have that growing up. We saw a policeman, we respected him. We wanted to be one.
Tim is the most disrespectful individual when it comes to obeying any type of laws. He rolled past a school bus that was stopped with flashing signs and stop signs out and tried to justify it. He is the worst, okay? This is why this is so hilarious, because he's full of shit. Pardon my French. My cousin. Them liberals. I'm not even a liberal.
A fireman, a policeman.
I'm a progressive.
They were to protect and serve. Now, I know that we got some bad cops. I know that that's changed too. That everything has changed. I'm not sitting here picking on like the people that are here. Our own people have been influenced and moved into that direction. Oh yeah, let's do that. Yeah, the hell with law abiding. Let's steal. Let's talk any way we want. Let's drop the F-bomb. Everything on TV is nasty. The comedians you watch on TV, they can't even do a clean comedy act without F. Like, and everybody's laughing like, oh yeah, the more I say F, the funnier they think I am, the more popular I'll be, and the more money I'll make. Everybody thinks that evil and trash talking and acting a fool is the way to go. I say everybody.
Tim is upset because there's some folks on YouTube who don't like him. They are making it known. And that triggers him. So he woke up triggered. This is the positivity, guys. He's so happy. Oh my goodness. I'm feeling depressed just listening to him. Yes, that's my dog drinking water. Junebug.
I mean, some people.
18 minutes. I told you, I sped it up. I couldn't get it any faster. I couldn't speed him up any faster because it became hard to understand him.
So what are we going to do? Are we going to bury our head in the sand? Are we going to leave it all up to Donald Trump and the people that are in his administration? Are we going to leave it to the Supreme Court, which handed him down some victories about getting the people out of here that shouldn't be here, especially the criminals? I'm sure even the people that shouldn't be here would agree they don't want the criminals here, whether they were born here or we're coming in here. Nobody wants criminals. If you're here from another country and you're just here for better opportunity and you got a family and you're trying to assimilate, God bless you. Those are the kinds of people we like, but you got to be here legally. But the ones that are here that are just joining. He
spent a lot of time watching Fox News yesterday and whatever else. I don't even know the names.
They hear about how they can make this money and act a fool and do anything they want and join the gangbangers and everything and make us where we're afraid to walk down the street or we get a knock on our door now. We're like, who the hell is at my door? Look how much things have changed. Nobody looks up, nobody talks to each other. Everybody's just scrolling.
I almost have like an imperviousness to this type of stuff. My grandma was a little bit of an old Southern racist, and I just did not listen to her. So I just don't find this type of conversation helpful. It doesn't progress us any further as a nation or a planet. This is what keeps us back and behind, in my opinion. I know there's going to be a lot of people who have a difference of opinion that want to keep a very white and Christian looking America, and to have it be anything else, which it's been everything else for a long time. They just are finding out more about it because there's the news, and they're older and they're easily manipulated and frightened, and they don't want to think that their previous known world is being at all challenged, and so it makes them get very upset. And Sarasota Tim seems to be an example of that. And he's not very old. He just has older friends, so his mindset is like 20 years older than he should be. I mean, he really just didn't seem, I don't know where he was. He really is very uneducated. It's to have such a large platform spitting out this rhetoric. It's shameful. It's embarrassing for America, actually. Take it from somebody who was born here. Yeah, I know I have a funny accent. I happen to have the opportunities that Sarasota Tim did not have to live in other countries and travel throughout my lifetime, which has given me a more global and more holistic perspective of what happens on this planet, other than this little narrow-minded BSery from this old man sitting in a overheated tin can on a slab in Bradenton, Florida, of all places.
I don't know how it's ever going to turn around. I know that God is in control, and I trust in him for my own life to provide for me. But I'll make this video and tell.
God denied your WebEx. He said, you got to come to court in Virginia Beach, Virginia, to be told that you're a bad man.
But I think, and if 10 people, 1 person, 1,000 people agree, and they do and say something to bring awareness. What do you think the other side's doing? That's all they do 24/7 on all the social medias and on TV and in the government, is they're screaming and yelling trash and propaganda and garbage. And
what are you doing at this moment, Tim?
We're just getting it, and the good people in this country are just laying down. There are some fighters, and they're in a certain part of our country. They don't take it. You can find them. You'll know one when you meet one. You got one standing right here in front of this phone. Now, I don't hang my head when I say it. This is the United States of America, and I am 67 years old, and I remember when...
I'm embarrassed by you, and I have an American passport, and I was born here, and you embarrass me. He does. Uneducated old buffoon.
Florida was Florida, when California was California, and the USA was more of what I recognize as USA. And then the slow evolution started happening. Technology came in. And then, heck, even in the last decade, there's been such exponential change between technology, influx of people from other countries, and changing in the laws, and through the last couple of administrations, through Biden and Obama, that we have...
He's so wild. Just trying to get AdSense, guys. His audience laps this stuff up, though. Okay, it's just, you know, that's Tim's audience too. It's not about Social Security at 62. It's about being an old bigot, in my opinion.
Well, I can't understand why people don't recognize it. Why I don't understand why people think that being a good American, or a MAGA, which is make America great again, that's the only thing I think of it. It's like when I started hearing these churches come down on Halloween. It's the devil's holiday. Well, you know, I just wanted candy. And I don't care I was dressed up like Frankenstein or Casper the Ghost. It was just a thing to go get candy. I didn't make it something it isn't. And then these people, they started making things that they aren't. Statues and things that we've had for 100 years. They started tearing them down and calling them. Nobody ever looked at it like that. It was just part of history.
No, Tim, we always knew that the Confederate statues in Richmond, Virginia were Confederate statues. We didn't need to have old General Robert E. Lee up there. Okay. There really needs to be trying to highlight and edify somebody who caused so much misery for many people. That's not the America that we want to represent. That's not progress. That's sitting in the past in some really shameful parts of American history. Not that we shouldn't remember this history, because we should. It shouldn't be scrubbed away. But we shouldn't be edifying it in the middle of a town like Richmond, a city, a capital of a state like Virginia. Just didn't need to happen. And I'm all on board with the fact that they finally took that down. That means that we're moving ahead and we can take that and put it into a museum and reflect upon the past. So it shouldn't be destroyed, but it just shouldn't be edified.
No one ever thought, like, let me look at that and I think, hate. And they started using, the devil's very clever. He starts using all of these things.
And if he truly was a Christian, he would think that having statues of normal men is actually, somewhat sacrilegious. So in reality, God wouldn't want you to have those types of hero worship in statues. I'm just saying.
And now, through AI and thinking of ways to hate, they come out with new things by the hour. There's new hate by the hour of creative ways that through AI and their own evolution of how to hate and distort and switch things, and through looking clever and saying something over and over and over and over and over about the president or me or you or your neighbor to get people to believe some of it, all of it, because they just repeat it. They just don't give up. And like, it takes me back to what I said. Good American people, moral people, people that check themselves, they just shake their head and look at it like, I'd never do that, but we don't say anything.
Good moral people film themselves naked, talk about Pam and Gary, and post it on YouTube for their Christian audience to watch. That's what good moral people do. That's what we saw at the beginning.
Because that's the type of person we are. It's not that we're shy. It's just that we don't know how to be a jerk. We can be a jerk. We have been jerks, everybody. But in general, the way you act and your courtesy and your respect for others and your neighbor, and when you go to a store, that's just common sense. And you see people acting a fool in all these different ways. And you just look at them, you're like, how were you raised? And I'm telling you, folks, I don't know what got me started on this. It was just that I heard something about socialism, and I turned it on, and they were going on and on and on about the change that they want to see. They're so hell-bent on having this country being tilted upright again. They're so fearful.
And Tim literally benefits from programs that are benefiting elderly people, such as having his Medicare Advantage almost compensated by the country, like through federal Medicare programs and his state. And then he also has his Social Security now coming to him. So Tim is actually benefiting from programs to make sure that the elderly don't have to endure poverty in their older years. But he going to be shouting about all this socialism stuff. So just bear that in mind when you're listening to this old bigot talk.
Of losing the way that they like to steal and distort. They're willing to burn the whole world down before they go down, before they say, oh, well, you won, like a good sportsman. Get you next time. We lost. It's like I saw something on TV the other day. In the 70s, if it was 2 outs, 2 strikes, and you're on the pitching mound, or you're the batter, and strike 3 comes in, and the game was lost, and it was all on your shoulders, you didn't get a trophy. You didn't go, you're all right. You're still number 1 in my book. No, your dad told
Tim scammed young military people out of their money over some garbage photography book scam thing that they overcharged these young men for. That's what he did to contribute to the United States military.
Told you, you lost. You get them next time. We dealt with it, and it wasn't tough. It was tough for a minute, but tough love. But now they don't want anybody to feel bad about anything. And it's all those little things, like I just mentioned, that are changing men from being men and women from being women. God created man and woman. A man is a stronger sex. A woman is a weaker sex.
Oh, no.
A woman came from man. And then every man after that came from a woman. A man is to esteem his wife or his woman like Christ loved the church.
Is that why you left 3 behind and 3 kids? Because you're such an esteemer? You just get tired. Tim, just stop it. You're being just absolutely hilarious, because everything you're talking about is something that you yourself could never hold this standard.
Say that in a way, because the Bible teaches it's not like you're the dominant force, but you can't have 2 chefs in the kitchen. They each have a role, and it's a beautiful thing when a man is a man and a woman is a woman. That's why these people are married 62 years, 40 years, 35 years, because they understand that. And likely, if they've been married that long, they came from my era. So it's just, it's the last several decades where you have people with multiple divorces, because I got married when I was 16. I ran away from home. I was misguided. It was a mistake. I got my own excuses. But, there's not a lot of success in marriage today. There's too much pressure. Both of them got to work. Both of them want to be career-minded. Both of them want to be the chef in the kitchen. How about this one? One parent tells their kids it's okay. The other parent tells the kids it's not. So then the kid gets confused, and the kid goes to the one that's the easiest to get what it wants. You got to be on the same page. That's where it starts. Is you got to raise children. I'm watching these 2 eagles raise these eaglets. You know what they're doing now? They're not bringing fish 4 or 5 times a day to the nest. They're like, get out, fly, and start hunting. Or when they do bring a fish, they're letting them fight over it. They drop it off and then they get out of the way. They drop it off. And
it's a lot of your generation, not to make generational stereotypes, but that I've known that maybe have higher divorce rates than even some of the people in my generation. All of the friends that I know who have married have remained married at this time. Not to say that they're not going to get divorced in the future, but so far they haven't. Me, I stayed married 7 years, got divorced, never wanted to remarry. Just that's, and so Tim is probably upset with women like me and women like me who can figure out how to sue him for $30,000 in a courtroom because he's not very nice on the internet with other creators who criticize him.
Them trying to tear it apart themselves instead of the mom or dad tearing it apart and feeding them. But you're big enough, eat it. And because they got to learn survival against other birds and things like that, they let them fight each other. And they don't care if one does one to the other because they're like, you got to learn survival. This is the natural instinct. You have to teach your children how to be honorable, respectful, quiet, and do the right thing. If you don't teach them from that age, then this is what we get. These wild Indians that we got running around. You wonder, damn, who raised you? I mean,
Tim wasn't there to raise his own children, really.
Even if you were trying to be influenced by peer pressure, that they were doing things like that. Your parents should have caught wind of it early on and said, well, that ain't you though. We don't play that here. I'm all over the place this morning. But I'm telling people out there listening to this video, if you're acting a fool, stop it. Start acting like respectful. Show some respect. Show some love. Pull your pants up.
You don't have the right to tell anybody anything, Tim. How about them apples?
Turn your radio down. Stop at the stop signs. Quit speeding 60 miles an hour. People's children are playing around out here. Well, let something bad happen.
Says the man who did not stop at a stopped school bus. It's just why it's so hilarious listening to him, because he can't do this himself, everybody.
Happen to you, or you lose your privilege to drive, or you finally one day have children and something happens to one, then you'll be like, then you'll get it. Just like people who don't believe in God. Let the cancer hit you, let the bullets start flying over your head, and you'll find out how much of an atheist you are when you're in a foxhole. You'll be crying out. You know you will. So why not just start today and become
people who cry out for their mothers too. So I mean, it just depends. I hear a lot of people who cry out for their mothers, believe it or not, probably more than God when they are dying. It's absolutely true.
A renewing of your mind. If you drink alcohol, take pills, smoke pot, and do all these things, I don't condone it. I did it. I did it a lot. And I say don't do it. But
or they're calling out for a spouse when they're passing. That's very common too. Very, very. I worked in hospice nursing for a long time, and my experience is people talk about God, but that's not usually who they're asking for at end of life. A lot of times they're not asking for anybody. They're in such pain. But if it were anybody, it'd probably be a loved one that they're wanting by them. A parent, a spouse, a child. That's generally what I found.
If you're going to drink, don't do it out at bars. And then get behind the wheel of your car. Drink a lot and then drive. I say, don't smoke a big joint of this powerful stuff they sell today and get behind the wheel of your car or go to work and deal with people or customers or operate machinery.
Who is your audience, Tim?
Or simple things. I say, if you're on pills because you got a bad back,
his audience is a bunch of other old men sitting here agreeing with him. And older ladies. It's just like, yeah, you're so right, Tim. Everyone's so bad nowadays. Oh, I find these tropes so tiring. Just not helpful for anything. It's just, oh my gosh. And it's so crazy because he gets money from YouTube to just espouse this hateful speech. I guess it's called free speech.
Operation, and you're just hooked on them now, and you're walking around all Vicodin out or something. Get off of them. Wake up. Renew your mind.
Oh gosh, says the ambient chaser man.
I say if you're watching Fox News, CNN, Tic Tacs, and you're swollen all the time, put it down. Pray, look up, ask God to help you, because you're not gonna be able to do it on your own. You're only gonna be able to do it through a power that is beyond your understanding, and He can change anybody. And I'm not saying.
Sorry, didn't he start this out by saying he heard the word socialism and started watching the news? So what the parallel universe and mental gymnastics going on here, Sarasota Tim? Can you explain, please?
You're comparing myself to the people I just mentioned, because a scoundrel is a scoundrel. And I was a scoundrel, I was born a scoundrel. You're a scoundrel. And I'm probably still a scoundrel, but I'm at least aware and check myself when I see myself maybe not being right.
Oh, for goodness sake, Tim, I'm going to have to bring out something. And I didn't think I was even going to have to do this at this point in time, but I think we're just going to have to do this.
Flim-flam, noun, a trick or deception, especially a swindle or confidence game involving skillful persuasion or clever manipulation of the victim. A piece of nonsense, twaddle, bosh.
Yeah, that's what this is. And then, you know, Tim, come on.
Try every day, and you could too, to be a better person. Grow up. These were childish things that we, if you're my age and you're still drinking, popping pills and smoking pot, that's something you did in high school, man. What good is it? There's no
Tim, are you telling on yourself?
value in it. You know, you're not you. You're inebriated. You're intoxicated. You can be sober. You can be nice. You can be patient. You can be respectful. It doesn't take any strength. You don't have to go to the gym to do it. All you got to do is do it. You can realize when people are trying to influence you. You can tell when people are lying. You can tell when you start drifting to like it's easier to go along with them and say no.
He likes to put out these rants because he hopes he's going to make more money. It's just for money, guys. It's money, clicks, and views because he needs to get people to watch. So
you're just trying to spread propaganda. I'm not going to believe you. I'll judge for myself. I got my own thinking. I've got my own critical thinking. I know right from wrong. God will show me right from wrong. Why do I need to trust in you? Who are you to tell me how to think about this person or that president or whatever?
Now, he sounds a little more manic because I do have him at 1.75. Sometimes when I slow him to normal speed, people think he sounds intoxicated. This might be why he's getting angry too. He's got lots of reasons to not be happy. And this is a way just, you know, classic influencer, clickbait, you know.
Think for yourself. That's what we did growing up, remember? We didn't have anything else for information. We thought for ourselves, and we thought how we were raised. That's exactly. Now, I grew up, born in Alabama, a Southern boy, and sure enough, church-going Southern Baptist. From the time I was knee-high to a June bug, I've been taught there's God. I was taught, say my prayers.
Only June bug is my dog.
Before I went to bed. Nobody's going to ever convince me, except a book they did for about 6 months or a year that I got brainwashed into, that there's no God. I never really believed it. I just followed this stupid thing.
He's talking about neotech for 6 months. Well, Tim, it was important enough to you at the time that you said you left your wife and child. And it was only for 6 months? Well, you still use neotech accounting to justify your RV math. So I don't think it ever quite left you, Tim. He's talking about that because I keep pointing out his neotech. Oh, goodness, Tim. 47 days to trial.
I'll make mistakes. But I've been a believer my whole life. And I used to get my ass tore up from my mom and my dad and my grandmother and my grandfather when I stepped out of line with a switch, with a belt. It wasn't child abuse. It didn't hurt me. It didn't kill me. It hurt my...
Well, obviously, it made you want to run away from home at 16, Tim. So, I mean, you have to be sort of cognizant of that in some way.
Feelings a lot. And it was a little painful. But it made me the man I am. At least, man, I'm trying to be. Versus someone who said, yeah, just do what you want. That's fine. If you want to plant some weeds in your garden out there, you can do it. And you can water them. They grow on their own, actually. Just keep watering them. Don't pull them up. Just let them grow. They'll strangle out everything else. You won't see anything in there good. You won't see any beautiful flowers. You'll just see weeds. Weeds grow so easy. Everything else takes work. You got to do some heavy lifting. You got to do some pruning. You got to take care of it. But look what you get. You get happiness.
Sorry, I had to adjust my camera. I think the dog came along and knocked it. I was like, how did my camera move? I'm sorry, everybody, for that. Oh, my goodness. I tell you, Tim is still going.
2 hours later.
So this video is almost an hour long. I'm trying to get through it, guys.
Proudness. And that's what we want to be in our country, is proud to be here and feel lucky that we're here. Not like we need to leave and go to the Philippines or Mexico or anywhere else because it sucks here, like some people are doing. Or it's unaffordable. We need to right this ship. Keep the people in office that are hopefully going to do something. We got no choice. This is our government. This is our...
Hopefully going to do something? That sounds like big business.
System. And if they don't, the very next election, we get rid of them. And we get somebody else in there. It all comes from...
Well, that's great. Well, we hope that, Tim. I think it's just not the people that you want to see. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my gosh. He's going to get fired up come midterms, guys. But if he still has a channel.
How you raise yours, too, so that they become future voters and they can have a voice and that everybody's in agreement. Because once the government sees the constituency, the population only accepts one thing, they're going to look pretty silly trying to tell us another thing. But right now, they've got an audience that's going like this. We're all ears. We'll take whatever. Yeah, send it. Yeah, get rid of them, police. Yeah, send us the free check. Let's just open the gates. Let everybody in.
You are the king of the free check.
And you get what we got. You make your bed, and now you're going to lie in it. How are we ever going to turn this thing around? Is it possible in our lifetime? What is the future going to be? Are we going to see and look back in history long after we're gone? The kids today are going to say, yeah, back in the day, it used to be the USA. They had this thing called a constitution and, all this. The That didn't last. They were only 200 years old. And these other countries are thousands of years old. They've been working with the same system, you know. And then here comes this American
Are you talking about the Magna Carta? What are you talking about, Tim?
system. And they branched off from England. And then, you know, they went a couple hundred years. And then all these people from all over the world started coming there. And they're like, no, redo. We don't like this program. And the people sat by that had the good program, the solid USA. And they stood by and they were killed, ostracized, voted out, condemned, made cower down, afraid to say something, just like they do in Iran. Do you think those people that are going to want to scream again in the streets after he killed 40,000 of them? Just.
Oh, really, Kim? That's what you're talking about today?
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
I'm having to add the drops in just to get this material livened up, guys.
Mow them
Terrible.
down. That's what tyranny, and that's what you don't think can happen here? If they actually had the power to get away with it, before they would want to have to go out and kiss babies and get votes? That's exactly what they want. They want, and they use all these stories about how they're doing it for you and to help you. You are nothing. You're a zero. You're expendable. You are a means to their end. These people get such greed and go get brainwashed by these colleges and read these books about communism and socialism. And they just want to, like, yeah, that's what we need. That'll work. And it's
Books about communism and socialism. I wish I had had the time to read such interesting tropes of literature, Tim. I had to instead read books about medicine, become a registered nurse, and I did a little bit of history. But I wasn't a political science major or a history major. So those were none of the topics that I really covered. Why do you assume that everybody who goes to college gets turned into a communist? I guess it's when you start thinking, you just feel that maybe at some times that wealth should be more equally spread because everybody contributes somehow. I don't know. But not in the sense of, you know, I think a lot of us balance that. Obviously, some people have positions that mean that their work is harder and therefore their compensation is greater, which is the whole debate over the, you know, the idea of, you know, communism and socialism. But I'm not trying to get into an argument about wages and, you know, Tim is just suffering post-stage capitalism here, and he's suffering badly. I don't know why he thinks he's suffering. He's never really had to work that hard to live somewhat comfortably. He just sees himself surrounded by, you know, extreme wealth, and it just makes him envious and sad.
never worked. What works is you working and getting and achieving what.
Tim's never really worked a day in his life. The type of work he did was just scammy sales garbage. That's what it is. I'm sorry.
You can. There are entitlement programs. We have empathy and sympathy for a part of our society that have troubles and disabilities and need genuine help. But not these, just let me sit here and drink alcohol, give me a free check and some food stamps.
Is that you, Tim? Oh, Tim, at the moment, this is what I need to think about your content, sweetheart. That's about what's happened to an hour of my time listening to Sarasota Tim rattle on.
You don't need that. You're paying for that, you know, the ones that are out working, and your taxes. Then again, your taxes are, they're spending in their own pockets. It's a messed up thing. I don't have all the answers. I'm just ranting because I feel better. How about you? Crush it.
No, I don't feel better, actually, Tim. I actually feel somewhat nauseated having listened to that. I don't even know what to say. If you did get this far in this video and suffered along with me for almost an hour, can you please make sure that you leave a like, you know, hit the comment section. Let me know what you think about. I'm looking over here for some stuff. So I my eyes have wandered, guys. I'm looking at some branding. I want to make sure I put my like, comment, and subscribe. And I'm kind of trying to figure out which way this camera angle goes because I got kind of tired of the laptop camera. Nobody cares. Anyway, if you did say you like this, put a like, comment, subscribe, give me a hype. And if you did get this far, 47 days to trial, leave me the scales of justice in the comment section down below. If you did get this far, you could leave me the scales of justice, a little picture of a courthouse. It doesn't come under courthouse. It just comes under building, but it kind of looks like an official courthouse building. You could leave that below too. And I really do appreciate it. And I hope you didn't have to suffer through this too much of what this absolute, which I would just call this, it was toilet talk. It just Just angry grandpa out here. It's the man you don't want to have for your Thanksgiving dinner. It's the man that you don't want to have a too many tipples of wine at a family function because he going to go off on the. You think that was bad? That was morning sober on coffee. Can you imagine if he had a drink in him, what he would say and do? Oh my gosh, it's terrible. All right, guys, I appreciate it. I'm not going to do any more reacts for him today. I got some other stuff to do, and I don't think my brain could take it. All right, guys, get you on the next one. Bye.
Life and Vibe, thanks so much. My queen, my Sarasota Tim expert.